Welcome to the read along of the mini manual for caring for afro, curly, and locked hair. We're starting off on page 4 and we're giving the introduction, and then the topic for today is why afro and curly hair is different. But before I get into it, I want to tell you a story. So I went natural in 2004, and I had this strong experience, this strong instance that happened in 2013. I was at work. We were in a cafeteria. It was coffee time. As you do with your colleagues, you go to get a break. And we had a coffee shop. People are ordering their teas, they're having their coffees, their hot chocolates, and we are all seated in a table. There are about 10 of us, and just chit-chatting. And in the course of chit-chatting, my boss makes a comment about my hair. Exactly what he said. We don't have time to get into it because we're doing this mini manual, and I want you to gain the insights. But when he made a comment about my hair, my then colleague, who was sitting across from me, who has no filter, in his big booming voice said, "Her hair? Who would want her hair? It's so frizzy." I felt like the room went silent, and I felt like everybody could hear what he just said. In my mind, you could hear a pin drop in that moment. I hadn't expected him to be so honest or to be so open about his negative critique of my hair. And that's why for me in 2025, it's such great pleasure and such great joy to be able to sit here with you as I read to you this guide, because I know that if you have insights as to how to care for your own hair, you're going to have a much more pleasant experience right from the get-go. So if we were to go back to that question that he asked all those years, her hair, who would want her hair? I would have to say me. I would want my hair. Now that I've learned how to care for it and how to nurture it, I absolutely love my hair. It can do lots of different styles, can do lots of different textures. So this one, for instance, is a braid out. But if I was to apply a bit more heat, it would be more voluminous and it would be all stretched. And so I am so excited to make sure that you also have the tools. So we are on page 4 of the mini manual. We're reading the introduction. I don't have time to engage because I want to just read and give you the insights, but please personally message me and I will give you the link to the book so that you can invest in your own copy of this information that's going to be handy throughout your hair journey. We're going to be doing 9 weeks of this. Well, it's because we're doing every fortnight, it's going to be spread out, but there are 9 chapters, and we're starting on chapter 1, why afro and curly hair is different. So the introduction: natural afro and curly hair is unique. You've noticed. It's unique in its structure and requires specific care to maintain its health and beauty. In this chapter, we will explore the fundamental characteristics of natural hair, how to identify your curl pattern, and touch on the role of hair porosity. By understanding your hair and its needs, you will be better equipped to care for it and choose the right products and treatments. So, chapter 1, why afro and curly hair is different. Let's look at the structure of afro and curly hair. Afro-textured and curly hair has a distinct structure compared to straight or wavy hair. And this structure is the key reason why it behaves differently. Let's break down the anatomy of a hair strand and see how this impacts its care. The hair anatomy. There are 3 layers to your hair. The first layer, we have the cuticle, then we have the core, the center, which is called the cortex, and then we have the medulla. So your cuticle, I've got some imagery to help you follow along. The cuticle is really the outer layer, and I'm going to show it in this, and credit to the person that did this. It's the outer layer, and so if I show you this, for instance, this one, the outer layer, as you can see, is quite closed. This one's a little bit open, and this one's quite open. So that's where we're talking about the layer, the very first layer of the hair. So in Afro-textured hair, these ones, the outer layer tends to be lifted, making the hair more prone. So in Afro-textured hair, it just makes it more prone to moisture loss and damage. There you have it. Then there's the cortex. The cortex is the middle layer. This is responsible for the hair's strength, elasticity, so being able to pull it and have it go back to where it used to be, and color. This is where most chemical and heat damage occurs, because that's where it targets it in order to change it. So if I want this to be straighter, the heat has to affect the cortex in order to give me the result. Or if I'm heat straightening it, the chemical has to go there and change it in order to give you what you're looking for, and that's how you also get the damage. Makes sense. Then there's the medulla. So this is an interesting layer. So this layer is the innermost layer, and it's actually only present in thicker strands of hair. So this layer is not like if you have fine hair, and I tend to have fine to medium, the strands are actually quite fine. They're not thick. So thick, it's not talking about the feel of it. It's more just the size of each strand. And this layer is more prominent in coarser Afro-textured hair. So why Afro and curly hair is different if we continue by looking at the anatomy. So Afro-textured hair is elliptical in shape. And this means that as the curls come out from the follicle, it forms tightly, creating coils. So this makes it more difficult for the natural hair shaft. So this makes it more difficult for the natural oils produced by the scalp, which is sebum, to travel down the hair shaft, resulting in drier hair. The tighter the curl pattern, the drier the hair tends to be. Understanding this fundamental difference is essential when selecting moisturizing products and choosing your styling techniques. So, how to determine your curl type? Hair textures varies greatly, and curl types range from loose. I've got a schematic for you. So this is from a curly hair group that I'm part of, and someone had posted it, and I'd asked who the original person is for this, so credit to whoever created this. So what's happening here is that you can have curls ranging from loose waves to tightly coiled curls. Now, knowing your curl type will help you understand how your hair responds to different treatments, products, and styling. The most common system used to classify curls is the Andre Walker hair typing system, and you've probably heard of it. And this breaks curls into categories. So there's type 3, which is curly, and then there's the type 4. So I've got my type 3s here, and we've got the type 4s here. And those are the two categories that we're dealing with in this read along. So type 3, you have loose, well-defined curls, often with a soft texture. This is the 3A. Then you come to your 3Bs. These have tighter, more voluminous curls with more spring and frizz. Then you have the 3Cs. These are tight, corkscrew curls, densely packed, and more prone to frizz. Then we look at our type 4s right here. Starting with 4A, this is soft, defined, and tightly coiled curls with an S pattern. Then we have our 4Bs. These are Z or Z if you're American, Z-shaped curls with sharp angles. These are more prone to shrinkage and dryness. And I have some of these textures, these 4Bs on my head. Then we have the 4C. This is the tightest curls with a distinct zigzag pattern, often appearing less defined without starting products, and most prone to shrinkage. So I tend to have the majority of my hair in this texture, and so I can show you, like, when this hair is actually straightened, it's down to about almost down to my bra strap, but I never get to experience my hair at that length, because it will always, this is even like a braid out with gel, so it's stretched it, but if it wasn't, with time you see it will shrink even more. So that's the shrinkage that the type 4B and 4Cs tend to experience at its fullest, about up to 75% shrinkage. So how to identify your curl type? So what you need to do is to wash and air dry your hair without any products. The hair must not have had any chemical or structure altering treatments. You need to observe how the curls naturally form. So if naturally your curls are loose and well defined, you may have type 3. On the other hand, if your curls are tighter and more densely packed, you likely have type 4. It's important to note that you have a mix of curl types on your head. Yes, you have a mixture of them. It's not just the one type. So for example, the hair at your crown might be a 3B, while the hair at your nape is 4A. On mine, the majority here is 4C, but I have a little section at the back that is 4B, and I can tell because it has more definition on its own. This one has no definition, visible definition, unless I put it there by doing a braid out or a twist out. So understanding these differences also help you to tailor your care accordingly. So when I'm detangling, for instance, I start off here because I know it's denser and can tangle a bit more. The back is slightly looser, and so when I'm tired and I'm getting to this end, I know I have less time left to detangle it. So we come to hair porosity and its role. So porosity refers to how well your hair absorbs and retains moisture. This characteristics plays a huge role in determining the kinds of products and routines that will work best for you. There are 3 levels of hair porosity. There is low, and I'm going to give you the tool once again to have a look at it. So there is low, then there is medium, and then there is high porosity. So if we look at the characteristics of low porosity right here, the cuticle layers are tightly packed, making it hard for moisture to penetrate. Water tends to sit on top of the hair rather than absorb quickly. The positive impact of the tightness of the cuticle is that moisture, once it's absorbed, lingers longer than in hair types that have more open cuticles. So you have to understand that it takes time, but it will go in. It's not impermeable, it's not silicone, it still does let it in eventually. It just will take longer, so you will need to be patient. But once it's in, it's also going to take longer to let it out, which means you're not going to be feeling as dry as those that have more open textures along here. So if we now have a look at how you should be caring for your low porosity, you want to use lightweight water-based moisturizers and avoid heavy creams or oils that can weigh down the hair. You may want to incorporate heat, example using a steamer or a warm towel, so that during your deep conditioning you can actually help products to penetrate into the cuticle and to have the moisture going into the hair shaft. So we've repeated that part. Okay. Then we come to, I'll have to edit this. Then we have the medium porosity. So the characteristic here, the cuticles are slightly raised, allowing moisture to enter and exit the hair at a normal rate. The hair tends to hold styles well and absorbs moisture efficiently. So how you should care for this hair is that you want to maintain a balanced routine that includes regular conditioning, so monthly, and weekly for regular conditioning, and deep conditioning, which you do monthly. You want to avoid overloading this hair with too many products because it can lead to buildup. Then we come to our high porosity, and I am definitely in this range. And as you find out, a lot of Afro-textured people will actually be in that range. So the cuticle for this texture, the layers are raised or even damaged, making it easy for moisture to enter, but it's difficult for the hair to retain it. So high porosity hair often feels dry and frizzy. So your care tips then are that you want to focus on sealing moisture into the hair by using the liquid oil cream method, LOC. What does this look like? So what it will look like is, after shampooing with a gentle shampoo that is sodium lauryl sulfate free, you want to deep condition the hair. Then you want to rinse out the conditioner and follow up with a leave-in conditioner that balances the pH of the hair. The pH of the hair is mildly acidic, so we're talking about 4.5 to 5. And when you do this, it actually encourages the cuticle to close. So you finish your hydration routine by using heavier butters and oils to seal in the moisture, because remember, it's much easier for you to lose the moisture that you quickly gained. So you want to incorporate protein treatment to strengthen the hair and repair damage. And so what we have at Dzeani is our leave-in conditioners have some hydrolyzed proteins. So routinely you're getting a bit of protein, but you actually want to monthly also do your protein treatments. And I will be honest, I don't do the monthly protein treatment. And this is why having knowledge helps you, because then you can see, if you really want to go next level, what you can add. But I don't do it. I just rely on my leave-in conditioner to give me that little amount of protein each time. And then I'm just conscious that, I need to handle my hair gently, because I'm not giving it that strengthening protein treatment on a regular or monthly basis. So how do you test your hair to see what the porosity is? So it's often reported that you can test for hair porosity via the float test. And I've got a visual for you once again here, but we will actually do the test as well. So this float test, you want to take a clean piece of hair, and then you want to make sure that the hair is clean. So it has no products on it. Then you're using room temperature water, and the hair will need time to really report what's happening. So you let it sit for 2 to 4 minutes, and if the strands float, you have low porosity hair. If the strand sinks, you have high porosity hair. But if the strand sinks at a kind of slower rate, then you are at the medium porosity. But if it sinks quickly, then after 2 minutes or so, then you are considered high porosity. But beware, these tests are very subjective, because in the past I have done this test, and what I did was to take the vial of water and I just put my hair strand in. I didn't wait the 2 to 4 minutes. I didn't make sure that the hair strand was clean, and so I said my hair was high porosity because it sat on top. It turns out when I did do it properly that it is high porosity, but this test is actually a little bit subjective, so you need to be careful. And actually there's a YouTuber, Nadine Rua, who offers science-backed explanations that really explains that most of us Afro-textured hair individuals actually have high porosity. And you remember when I showed this, this lifted cuticle is just the norm for Afro-textured hair. But of course, you're going to have some that are very high, and you're going to have some that are not as high. So you just always remember that if you have Afro-textured hair, you're actually already in a high porosity zone. So just treat this test wisely and really observe your hair to understand. So we come to the conclusion of chapter 1. Understanding the structure, curl type, and porosity of your hair is the foundation of creating a hair care routine that works for you. Once you've identified your hair specific needs, you'll be better prepared to make informed decisions about the products you use and the routines you follow. So in the next chapter, we'll dive into how to build a comprehensive hair care routine, from washing and conditioning to moisturizing and styling your hair for optimal health. So I'm really excited for sharing to share that content with you. Now, I've got some quizzes to help you understand what we've just covered, because I know if you don't rehearse, you will think you've got it, but not necessarily. So here are some multiple choice questions and some true or false questions for you to just test your understanding. So that's my quiz here. True or false? Afro-textured hair is naturally drier because the tightly coiled shape makes it harder for scalp oils to travel down the hair shaft. Is it true or false? I want to know your answer in the comments. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to answer that question. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that says 5 again. Where's my 1? Okay, 1 is still here. So time's up. Okay, so question 2, this is multiple choice question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our multiple choice question: which layer of the hair is responsible for strength, elasticity, and color? Is it A, the cuticle? Is it B, the cortex? Is it C, the medulla? Or is it D, the follicle? 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please type your answer in the comments. Question 3. Quick recall. So this one I'm not going to prompt you. You have to remember. List the 3 layers of the hair strand in order from outside to inside. So the 3 layers that I mentioned, listed from the outside to inside. What are they? Because it's a recall, you can have like 10 seconds because it's a bit harder and you have to type. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give you another 5 seconds. The 3 layers of the hair from the outermost to the innermost. What are they? Time's up. And then we have question 5. The float test, which is dropping hair in water to test porosity, is always reliable. Is it true or false? You have 5 seconds to answer. The float test is always reliable. True or false? Time's up. And the final question, your final question before a reflection: your hair quickly absorbs water but also dries out just as fast. What porosity do you likely have? Your hair quickly absorbs water, but then it also quickly loses it. What porosity do you likely have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time's up. So here's a reflection question for you. So I want you to take a moment to think about your hair, and I want you to see if you have different textures in your hair. What sort of textures do you have in your hair? Do you have a mix? Do you have just 1 type, 2 types, or even maybe 3 types? Please let me know in the comments. So that brings us to the end of the reading of the mini manual for Afro, curly, and locked hair. We've covered chapter 1, which was why Afro and curly hair is different. And God willing, in 2 weeks, we're going to be covering developing a hair care routine as part of the chapter 2 of this mini manual. Don't forget to follow us on Dzeani, follow us on YouTube, because our future lives will be on YouTube. And also we want you to message us directly if you want to have the link to the book. You really want to invest in a copy for yourself so that you can always refer to it, because there are a lot of information here. So God bless. Wishing you a wonderful week, and I will catch you when we do the read along for chapter 2, developing a hair care routine. Bye.